Hello, this is Mark Sabatella from Outside Shore Music. In this video, I want to talk about the song by the Gershwin brothers, But Not For Me. And really, I just want to talk about the first couple bars of the song because I don't like to get into talking about what the original chords were because, it was written for a show and it was orchestration. It wasn't written as a lead sheet. I don't even really care that much about correct chords because so many people have different interpretations, especially among jazz musicians. I just want to talk about the two common ways that this piece is done so that anyone who is ever in a position of playing this song with other musicians knows kind of what to expect. This came up for me on a gig just yesterday, so it's fresh in my mind. So these are what I think of as, I don't know, the if there was such a thing as original or correct changes, I guess it might be these, and it goes something like this. All right, so it's 1, 2, 5, and back to 1. Very simple type of chord progression there. And this is what most sheet music has some variation on that. Maybe it's 1, 6, 2 to 5, right? It might go 1, 6, 2, 5, or it might just have 1, 2, 5, or it might just have the 1 and the 5. But it starts on a 1 chord is the essence of this type of version. The other type of version that you often see starts on the 2 chord, and it goes something like this. So it starts right off on a dominant 2. And then it's the same after that typically. So it's really just about the first chord that's different. And the thing is, a lot of jazz musicians play it that way. I kind of think that was probably the way the old illegal real book probably had it. To be honest, I don't remember which version came from where. I just know a lot of people play it this way. It's a fine way of playing it. That dominant 2 to minor to 2 and then to the 5. This dominant 2 is just tonicizing the 5 that eventually comes. It's a perfectly fine chord progression. I don't prefer playing it that way myself simply because even in the more common version, that's what happens the next phrase. So the common version that I would recommend starts with the 1 chord. 1. And then the next phrase is the same thing, but starting on the dominant 2. So the first phrase starts on a 1. The next phrase is the exact same melody. It's the exact same melody in the first phrase and the second. It's kind of nice that there's 2 different chord progressions. Is that really what Gershwin meant? I don't know. I didn't see his original scrap of papers. I just know there's lots of different versions floating around. I kind of think of this as probably more faithful to his intent, probably, but I don't claim to have inside knowledge about that. I just know that this is what I think more musicians probably play this version starting on 1, but you definitely want to be aware that a lot of people have learned it starting on 2, and a lot of people probably prefer that. It is a nice sound. I just don't do it because we're going to get that sound the next 4 bars, and so I like having the variety. So anyhow, it's a song. If you're a jazz musician and you're in a position where someone calls this song and you're with some unfamiliar players, you might want to just turn, hey, what do you play for the first chord? And then not to judge anyone about it, but just to make sure you're on the same page and playing off the same changes. So that is George Gershwin's But Not For Me. You can either start on a 1 or on a dominant 2.